Hey, I want to welcome you to this edition of the Church Security Answer Man. Thank you so much for joining me. It means a lot to me because I want to try to help us all improve our church security operations. So today we're going to talk about getting more team members to attend more of your church security training. So if you're having trouble with your team showing up, you're developing good training, but they're taking sick time, or they're just, whatever the reason is, they're not showing up for your training. And I've had 3 people talking to me about this recently. And one of those is Troy Mason from our community. He's sent some messages or made some comments on our videos, which I love to hear from you folks. And he's talking about, he's done the work and he's got some great training going this next year. He's planning the training for a year, which is what we've talked about in here. He's gotten some great training topics going, but now the problem is that he's having trouble having people show up, getting them to show up. And these are like difficult trainings to get the team leader or the instructor there. They're like kind of like one-off trainings, and people, he's not going to be able to offer them again anytime soon. And so selling it through your titles, your information that you put out, and we're not lying to people, but we want to make sure and have the best quality information for them, content, and we want to do the same with the title. We want to make sure that it's good information for them and that we sell it well. We don't want it to sound boring. So let's look at that title issue first of all. Think about making it appealing. You might have a class arranged and the title of it is, which I've seen a couple of these similar to these. The title might be The Necessity of Security and Proper Mindset for Security, something like that. And why not look at the content and change the title a little bit and maybe even put in some additional content in this area. We could change it to Tactical Operations and the Mindset for Security. Get that tactical in there, get that mindset, get it more exciting kind of thing. So just make it a little bit more exciting and add the contents for it as well. You might have something you're going to do role playing for church security situations or incidents. And hey, I got to tell you from my experience, there's a good portion of people that appreciate role playing, and there's a good portion of people that don't appreciate role playing. So getting them there, having some instruction ahead of time and then doing some role playing. We want people to be successful. We don't want to be one of those instructors, in my opinion, that's trying to make people fail so we can laugh at them a little bit. We don't want that. We want people to finish successfully. And a great way to do that with a role-playing training time is give them the information ahead of time. A little bit of instruction, an hour of instruction, and then an hour and a half of role-playing. And your instruction is getting them ready to succeed, giving them the answers for the role-playing. So instead of just calling it, we're going to have a role-playing training, why not call it something like Responding to Today's Crisis Situations? And again, we make sure the content fits. We spruce it up a little bit. We talk about, instead of just, how about this situation, how about this situation, we actually take it from some news events. And we actually create a scenario around that news event that actually occurred at a church. And that way it makes it a today's situation, a real event. So trying to liven up those titles is one great way to do it. Next, I say you give out certificates. There's a good portion of people that like to collect their certificates. They like to have a file of certificates. They like to have credentials. Some of them will even make me walls, we call them, where it's my certificates, and they'll put them up where people can see them or post them on social media. So give out those certificates. And we want to document training anyway. If you're a team leader or church leader, we want to document the training. So going the extra mile, maybe giving them a copy of the certificate. We put a copy of the certificate in a church file. And of course we're going to have rosters. We want to have those rosters. And you can find those things. We've got some ideas on rosters and training documentation over at churchsecurityanswerman.com, where you can get that stuff for free. So, some people just like their collection credentials, and I have that even on our posts now on our internet training that we do. I've still got people that want that next step. And so not everybody feels that way, but it's enough. And people who don't know they don't feel that way, who don't think they feel that way, that they don't really need it, will start to find when they get a certificate, hey, they're beginning to collect those things. So I definitely recommend giving out certificates. Next, to go along with that, I would suggest to you that maybe you look at security team levels, member levels. So you have security officer 1 or security member 1, security member 2, security member 3. And those are different levels. And what do we do? How do we make that condition? And we do it, based on time of service. Maybe they've been here a year, they've been here 2 years. And then we also look at the amount of training that they've accomplished, that they've attended these certain courses. And if we know we're going to be offering certain training courses, then we can put those in there specifically. Or we could put number of hours of training per year, and that allows them to move up to the next step. So, looking at the different levels, giving them a status based on that level, and then making it relative to time of service and amount of training that they've gone to, number of hours, or the types of training, however you want to do it. Maybe they're keeping their gun credentials up, that they're qualifying, and that they're doing that on a twice annual basis, or however often that you do that, yearly, whatever that looks like. That could be part of that as well. That adds some more level of excitement to this stuff than just, hey, come to this training that we've got going on, and not paying attention to titles and not giving anybody any additional credentials or benefits. And then, what I suggest you is that you start to add responsibility to those different levels, which is going to help you as good leaders in the church or team leaders. Delegating some responsibilities is always good. And so you and I want to be intentionally finding new people to bring up in the security program. So it's not just all about us leading the team. And so this also kind of all goes together. If you get my feeling here, it's like this kind of works together to build up the training and to make it more of an enticement to come to the training. And then you add incentives and levels, and now you also delegate some of the load to these folks and make these people, you're intentionally making them more of a leader in the program and giving them added responsibility and promoting them a little bit. And so, making them in charge of certain functions, as if they reach level 2 or level 3, they're ordering supplies, or they're maintaining the radios, or some interest that these folks might have. They're in charge certain nights or certain days, whatever that looks like. And so this will, I think, just all around builds a good program, besides the fact that you're enticing people to partake in the training programs that are very important for church liabilities, for their own liabilities as well. So that's it for this edition, a quick one. And I'm so glad that you've joined us here. And, don't forget, our main hub of information is over at churchsecurityanswerman.com. You can find all kinds of information over there. And I also want to make sure we have more information right here on YouTube if you're watching us on YouTube. And in fact, just check out this next video right here that'll continue to give you more information on our programs and on our advice and our sharing. And don't forget to participate in the community as well. Leave us a comment wherever you can. We want to get your input. I don't know everything, and so I don't know how you're doing your program. I don't know how others are handling certain programs, so please give us some input and share with the rest of us in our community. Thanks again for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.